All right, let's move on, shall we, here on this edition of Futbol Americas presented by Expedia. And let's make some calls here, because we got a big game Wednesday night out there in Los Angeles. LAFC, who did rest some players over the weekend in their scoreless draw against Philly, taking on Tigres in the Campeones Cup, the battle between the winners of Liga MX and Major League Soccer's playoffs. It's going to be Wednesday night, I think 8 o'clock start out there local time, right? So it'll be about 11 on the East Coast. So I don't know what time we're going to be going live, but it'll be very, very late, Herc. Yes. Tigres couldn't rest as many players, huh? They had a Clásico Regio, which we're going to show you the highlights of in just a second. So who you got winning this thing?
I am going with Tigres. It's not because I think Tigres is a better team, even though they are a better team than LAFC, let's be honest.
You can say it. You can say it.
No. Well, I'm thinking out loud. They're a better team than LAFC, and they didn't have the luxury of resting players. They actually went all in because they played against their bitter rivals, the Rayados, at home, who they dismantled, and we'll get into that in a second. But I'm not touching LAFC. LAFC hasn't proven they're worthy enough. I didn't even check the line. I don't even know if there is a line. I don't care what the odds are, what the line is. I'm not touching LAFC. This goes back to 2018, I think that was the year they played the Seattle Sounders at home and bottled a home Western Conference final against them. It goes back to the
2019.
Yes, and then it goes back to the 2020, champions, CONCACAF Champions League, where they dismantled so many different Mexican teams and faced Tigres, albeit in Orlando, in a neutral site, and blew a lead against Tigres to lose that final. It goes beyond the León final, where they were unrecognizable. It goes beyond the League's Cup game they played against Monterrey and how they bottled that lead. It goes beyond, even also, by the way, you can make a case for MLS Cup. I know they won it, but you can make a case for MLS Cup. They bottled it as well at home against Philly, a team that's notoriously defensive, a team that pretty much, who played better that game, it was Philly. They ended up winning, so congratulations to LAFC. But I don't feel comfortable in a big game when the lights are on putting the money on LAFC. So I'm going to go with the tried and tested, which is Tigres, who, by the way, can be the first team in this competition to win it twice.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a trust thing with LAFC. You watch this team, not just last season, but even the up and downs of this year, and I'm not sure. Obviously, they had a focus on this game. The lineup they put out against Philadelphia tells you that. The question here is, Herc, how important is this to Tigres? And you'll know this well because I know you were on ESPN Deportes earlier today with your show Ahora o Nunca. Like, how big a deal will this be to Tigres? Because they're in the middle of a very important part of their schedule as well. Will they go all in here?
They won't necessarily go all in, but they have the luxury of having Mazatlán next at the weekend.
Okay.
And that's an easier play than if it were, say, an América or a Monterrey or one of those teams up there. So it helps that they dismantled Rayados at home and started resting some players, if you will, like the 65th, 70-minute mark. But it's not even about that, Seb. I do have trust in some of the younger players, some of the second-class players, if you will, that Tigres will play. I mean, Marcelo Flores may get a run here. He may do something important. Diego Lainez is coming off a goal for Tigres in a Clásico Regio, his first goal in a Tigres jersey. You've got players like Sebastian Córdoba who are working their way back into fitness. You've got some real young, hungry players who are getting an opportunity here. I'm telling you, it's not a given for LAFC.
All right, so LAFC against Tigres then Wednesday night in Los Angeles.